Buckle up, Buttercup. Live from Gloucester, Massachusetts. Podcasting around the world. You're listening to the GloucesterCast podcast, a production of Joey Shimataro and Good Morning Gloucester Media. Kick back, relax, and enjoy the show with your host, Joey Shimataro, and his crew of merry castaways. No piping plovers will be intentionally harmed in the production of this podcast.
We did it.
There you go.
You did it.
We fucking did it.
Good morning, Gloucester.
I want everybody to explain to the viewers how the time frame was. How many seconds before I got my audio?
About, I'm going to say maybe 10.
I was going to say about
prior.
I want to say it's like the last 1.7 seconds of the Celtics playoff game.
I think that's
I always say you never tell your viewers what happens before the show. What happens before the show stays with the show.
Well, yeah. I think part of my anxiety is part of the shtick now. So
No. The funny thing is we didn't have a problem, Joe.
We were all
no,
sitting here
did
saying
not.
the same thing. We were going, "Oh, Joey's freaking. Joey's."
Joey's freaking out, right? Is that what you were saying? Because
Yes, sir.
that would be accurate. It's GloucesterCast 457. I'm gonna do a little Zen thing right here where I go home.
Well, I'll start by saying first day of vacation. Good job, Joey. You made it.
Made it. It's GloucesterCast 457. We have a very special guest joining us today, Barry Hanrahan, Gloucester native. Incredible story. I don't know the whole story other than what I read on his LinkedIn page, but he started out at North Shore Community College and is currently the vice president and assistant general manager for the Philadelphia Flyers. So that's a pretty prestigious job. I don't know if anybody in Gloucester has held a position with a professional sports team that elite. I'm going to ask him if he knows if that's the case. We are joined with Jimmy and Pat Dalpiaz. Pat is doing the comments. You can say hi.
Good morning. Sorry. I'm concentrating on.
Yeah, we have Nicole Schraft. Hey, Nicole, thank you very much for representing with
I
your
got
mug.
it.
Who else has their mug?
Joe or Scotty's got his.
Scott.
I have two. My other one's over there.
Nothing for Chris. Nothing for Pat and Jimmy. Well,
No, sorry. It's in the dishwasher, actually.
Oh, there you go. 4 out of 5. Well, that's nice. That's nice.
Well, we get that going for us,
We got that going for us.
which is nice.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say that.
That's right, Joey.
Oh my God, I'm just starting to relax here. We have a couple. Did I introduce Chris McCarthy yet and Scotty Mack?
No, not
No.
yet.
Good morning, Gloucester.
Good
morning.
Good morning, John.
Joe. Happy birthday, Joe.
Thank you so much. I'm going to bring up the chat here. Oh, Pat, why don't you give us a rundown?
We have joining us this morning, Wayne the Postman Moulton. How'd I do with that?
Wayne
Brenda
the
Grimes
Postman.
Davis.
Just say Wayne the Postman.
Better than
Michael
I did last week.
Berlino, Joanne Wood, Joey Foote, Susan Casey Lipsick. Good morning, Susan.
Happy New Year.
Kate's on with us.
Hi, Kate. Happy New Year.
Let's see here. Mike Favazza, Trisha Clinch, Lynn Scannell.
All the way from Hawaii right now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Lynn and Phil are in Hawaii.
Brenda Leahy. Good morning, Brenda.
Good
Jen
morning,
Holmgren.
everybody.
Good morning, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Lois Ann Whitmarsh Hamilton. Good morning, Lois. It's nice to hear from you. Teresa Haggett and Pauline is with us as well.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you for that, Pat.
We've got quite a few shares already.
We do.
We do.
I got to come up with a prize, I guess.
Dig deep in the closet there, Joe.
I don't know what am I going to give away. I got to figure something out. I'm down in the basement. How does it look?
It looks great. The lighting behind you looks pretty good.
Why don't you give away your sound equipment?
I tried to go like very subtle here, and with a little bit of the little plant right there, the nice lighting. You know,
there's a little too much glare coming off your forehead, Joe.
That's to be expected.
McCarthy, I see you made the makeup department today.
All right, I'm going down here. Wow, there's a lot of questions. I see you guys put in a lot of questions in the show notes for Barry. I like that. That's very good. I don't know how much time he's going to have, but let's do a little New Year's Eve recap. Who watched Dick Clark, the Dick Clark show? Anybody?
Is that the actual ball drop where there was zero ground?
Yeah, well, in Times Square.
Yeah,
that was the one with Jennifer Lopez in the white dress.
Good morning, Mick and Nina. Welcome.
So Chris, I watched a little bit of it, Joe.
Chris, what did you think?
It didn't feel the same. I mean, it served its purpose, but everything seemed forced, and I mean, they had to do it. I mean, we watched it. That's the traditional way of, entering in the new year or ushering in the new year.
I think that the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade was more entertaining. I think that it was a horrible production. In years past, I think they really tried. And I'm actually going to steal this from another TV show where they did a recap. I think that Andy Cohen saved it when he asked Anderson Cooper to drop acid with him. And because Anderson Cooper kind of slipped up and thought it was kind of surreal that it was like being on an acid trip, had to backpedal and asked Andy to do it later that night at a party. So
That was terrible.
The performances were terrible.
Terrible.
I'll tell you that Ryan Seacrest has had a lot of Botox.
Oh.
And Cyndi Lauper should have.
Yeah.
I mean, she was singing and doing some sort of techno song, and she was on the same level as Yoko Ono on that one.
I think the highlight was J-Lo at her age, looking as beautiful as she still looks. But she didn't have the pipes to pull off Sweet Emotion.
Yeah, that was a great point.
Was painful. It was painful to listen to. It really was.
And it reconfirmed that A-Rod is an a-hole.
A hanger-oner. A hanger-oner.
I see that guy, and he gives me.
We went for dinner at Oliver's Harbor on New Year's Eve, and it reconfirmed my my previous thought that place is the most underrated place in town and the most overlooked in town, despite being really excellent. We had a great meal, and the service is great. The room is great. We got a reservation on New Year's Eve the day before at 7:30 p.m., which is, bananas to me, but it was great. So I want to give props to them.
Yeah, we went last week. We had a really good experience. It was during Christmas week, I think.
Yeah. They try so hard in there. The meals are spot on, and everything is feeling good. I never feel like there's a problem going to be with the COVID restrictions or whatever. They make it really feel worthwhile to go in there and not look over your shoulder and worried someone's going to do something and you're going to feel uncomfortable. No, I give them all the kudos for that.
Yeah, and the food's fantastic. It really is. It's as good as any place in town. We got invited to go to the Igloos this week by Mile Marker. Called us and said, "Can you do a little promo for us? Come in and showcase the Igloos." So we're going to be going there maybe Thursday. I'm going to talk to Patrick Hurd and see if we can get that done for Thursday. Nicole, you had a topic. If someone served you venison and called it steak, or served you bear sausage and swore it was just Jimmy Dean, would you be mad when you found out?
We had this conversation was it New Year's Eve when we were just talking about the Elks. We did a drive by the Elks quickly, and it came up there because this happened in my house. I think I can say that. I think the kids are sleeping, but it happened in my house. And Finn is now privy to the venison and is fine with it, but he doesn't know about the bear sausage, and I think he might lose his mind. So we had a little incident in the kitchen here, and I knew, and Freddie denied it, but I decided to keep it from the kids. So would you, as adults, would you be mad? Not probably not the venison, right? But the bear would send me over the edge.
Bear is in alcohol, or bear is in Bear in the Woods?
Bear. This is like wheel versus whale, Chris. Bear, like in the woods.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
You wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't. But I bet you my wife would. I'm guessing. I'm going to speak for her and say I'm fairly.
Yeah, I want the opportunity to say yes, yes, please, and no, thank you. I don't want to just.
Is it an ethical thing? Like you have a problem with eating bear, or what is it? Why do you have the problem?
It's not really ethical. It's not anything on the list of things I want to try.
Now here's the question. I mean, when you're cooking meals on any other given night, are the ingredients or stuff disclosed to them as well? And then they go sometimes, what is this? I mean, it could be a vegetable that they've never tried before. So is that on the same?
Are you saying you've never told your kids that it was something that it wasn't to get them to eat it?
No, my kids eat pretty well. I haven't had to do that. We put like the spinach in the smoothies and they watch it happen. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about the bear that I don't think they'd want to know.
I think you should give them this Thursday. You should give them tripe and don't tell them what it is.
Yeah.
They'll never know. They'll never
I
know.
won't put that in my kitchen, Chris. Never mind.
I had the worst.
My children.
I had the worst dining experience I've had in maybe 3 or 4 years last night. I'm not going to say where I went.
Uh-oh.
I had the absolute worst dining experience. And I'm going to just say this. So speaking of things that shouldn't happen in dining, if you order baked haddock, it should, in my opinion, it should not come saturated in lemon juice. That should be lemon maybe served on the side and you can squeeze it on yourself. But this was completely saturated with lemon juice. How do you feel about lemon juice on getting served baked haddock saturated with lemon juice?
On the side.
Oh, I love lemon. I would like that.
No, on the side.
On the side.
Yep, on the side.
I don't even use it, period.
You don't use it?
I don't use
it. It's there
it.
half the time as the garnish, and maybe use it on the last bite or two.
I got to mention, Paul Gamber just joined us, and I thought what his wife did, I don't know if it was Christmas Eve or Christmas, but they took out, you know how your liquor cabinet has like a ton of stuff in it that like you haven't touched in maybe 5 or 6 years?
Yeah.
And they put all of their liquor that hasn't been touched in a while, and they like forced cocktails. You forced to make cocktails with the booze that hadn't been touched. And if no one drank it, it got tossed. It got tossed.
Joey, we used to call that in my house around the world because if you read the labels, they're all from different countries. So we used to do around the world trips. And that's you get lost about the third country.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, speaking of lemon and garnish, one of my topics today was the infamous orange that you get served during breakfast at a lot of breakfast places. What is the reason for the orange, number one? And I'm curious how many of you actually eat that when you get your plate?
Never.
Is it in my mimosa? Is it just on the plate?
No, we're talking.
Is it in your mimosa?
It's absolutely. Then I absolutely eat it.
So the question is, do you think that it serves the same purpose as like parsley? Like it's a garnish that would make the plate look more attractive? Because a lot of times, like if you cook a plate and it's all like say like light brown, and there's no punch to it.
Yeah.
If you put that orange or you put like the green, like if you notice,
like eggs and hash browns,
on cooking channels, if you notice, they always do chopped up like that green onion, and they sprinkle that on top just to give it some punch.
Yeah. No, that's what I figured. Sometimes the orange slice you get is like dried up. It's ugly. It's like, why you even put it on the plate?
Kate says it's a papa color. It's a papa color. Get a little papa color in there.
That accent's beautiful.
I can hear her. She's upstairs with Connor. I can hear her right now. Papa color. It's a papa color.
Yeah.
So that accent that you're doing, Joe, I just recently got into a Netflix series called Wayne. Not Netflix. I'm sorry. It's on Amazon Prime.
Called what?
Amazon Prime, and the show is called Wayne. Wayne, and it was recommended to me by a friend of mine, Nina. So I said, all right, I'll give it a shot here. And it was actually filmed in Brockton. So the accents in this thing are absurd and fun to listen to, actually. So I recommend people check out on Amazon Prime Wayne if you're looking for a series. But you'll get that accent there.
Was it a Boston accent, South Boston accent?
Oh, it's you gotta watch it and just judge it for yourself and bring it back up on a topic on a later podcast. It's gonna be a good one.
Hey, Joe, one of the listeners said you should have sent it back. That's actually a good topic, and it's something that I don't do enough. How many of you, if you're served something that isn't cooked right or doesn't taste right, actually send it back?
I'm telling you, I had the worst top to bottom experience, except for the person that handed me the food was pleasant. Other than that, top to bottom, the worst service, the worst meal, soggy carrots as a side. Soggy carrots.
So who sends back their food? Anybody?
It has to be completely wrong for me to send it back.
Yeah.
But so Joe, you're a big steak guy. If you get it medium rare and it comes well, you're gonna eat it?
If it's an expensive steak, it's okay. If it's under $20, I'm probably gonna eat it. If it's an expensive steak at a prime steakhouse and it comes well done, and I ordered it rare, I'm going to send it back. But that's never happened to me. I mean,
I think I'm with Joey on that. If I go to a place that really advertises, we cater, we do exactly what you want, I'm not saying have it your way, that place. But I'm saying, you go to a place like that, I would definitely say, guess what? You did it wrong. Let's do it again.
A lot of times the wait staff will step in and offer, like they'll come by and say, how is it? And then when you tell them there's something not quite to your liking about it, a lot of times they insist to take it back.
I've sent wine back.
I say never. And Kate, your wife says she'd do it in the nicest possible way, but something gets lost in translation from handing it to the wait staff to the kitchen and how they articulate what's wrong with the dish. And if that chef or cook is being testy that day or just hates life or their job, I mean, it's a crapshoot as to what they're going to put out for you as to when they have to do it again. So
in other words, you're afraid he's going to spit in it.
I really happen.
Put the pubies in there. You don't want to get the pubies in there.
I don't want the chef.
You're picking them out of your teeth. You'll be picking the pubies out of your teeth.
I don't think that happens on a high scale level, but I think that it's definitely in that wheelhouse of that industry. And I don't want to give that industry a bad name because I do eat out a lot. And I never send my stuff back because, it usually comes out correct. But it's unfortunate for Joey. I'm sorry that happened to you last night.
I had worst meal in 3 years, I swear to God. Caitlin mentioned a great point. If everybody's seen the movie Waiting,
yes, that's exactly what I was getting at.
And you move back. And that's probably one of the most underrated comedies of all time.
Don't watch that movie if you're an avid food eater at a restaurant.
Well, Barry Hanrahan is with us. We're going to bring him on right now. And here we go. Hopefully his audio works. Mine didn't work. Add to the stream. Barry, look at the hat.
Come on.
You got to get your audio, Barry. So there's a little cog. Chris, how do we describe this? Look for the little cog. I'll take a picture. Hold on one sec. Who can do a screenshot? There's a Barry right underneath where you're at the very bottom of your thing. To the right, there's options, and there should be a little cog. If you hit the cog and then do your audio input.
I don't think we should let him on. He's wearing a Philadelphia Flyers shirt.
I can't believe he has a GMG hat. That's a classic.
And a GMG hat, yeah.
Oh, let me see. How can we describe it?
Here we go.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey.
All right.
Oh,
There we go.
I'm tech savvy here.
Precipitation. So Barry,
Repping whenever I can.
you are from Gloucester,
Absolutely.
and I see that you graduated a year after Chris and I.
Okay.
But so a little background. Here's a question that I didn't know. Did you play hockey?
I played hockey growing up. Didn't play at Gloucester High. For some reason, when I got to O'Malley, I grew like 5 or 6 inches and decided basketball might be the best path, and played basketball with a bunch of the guys through O'Malley and a couple of years of high school. But deep down, hockey was always my passion. Just loved the sport, and fortunate to make a career of it.
Do you remember back? I think it was the early '80s, the Gloucester High team, when they had those deep runs, and they arch rival against Saugus, and they were throwing the fish on the ice and stuff.
Winthrop, all that stuff. Fun games to go to. The old Lynn Arena. I mean, those were great old barns to go in and, as a kid watching your hometown team play. It was pretty cool.
That was intense. The fans were pretty intense.
Yeah, it was.
But I did a little stalking, and I went to your LinkedIn page, and I didn't really. So here's a question. The first question I want to ask you is this: so you are the assistant GM and the vice president of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Correct.
Do you think, or are you aware of anyone that was born in Gloucester, Massachusetts, that has ascended to that high in any professional sports league?
Well, when you look at, across the board, not necessarily hockey. I mean, there's been some people from Gloucester that have, been high ranking in the sports industry working for teams. Dwayne Johnson, who is a mentor of mine, actually a coach of mine. He coached me on the Yankees. He was a coach with Bucky Rogers back in the day.
Oh, wow.
That was my team. Terrible. The only downfall of being on that team is you had to wear a Yankee cap around Gloucester. The only time in my life I put a Yankee hat on.
Is that like wearing a Flyers sweatshirt?
There's a little orange around Gloucester.
Did you feel dirty during those days?
He still wears it. But Dwayne's been with the Boston Celtics forever. Peter Sinagra, another Gloucester guy who was with the New York Mets for a period. I think he was there in the '86 run when they beat the Red Sox. So there's some folks from Gloucester. And of course, you got the Jack Weber, longtime scout, professional baseball, Seattle Mariners for many years.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right here. I'm going to stop you right here. You're being way too modest, because the question was, has anyone ascended to the level of VP or assistant general manager on a major league sport?
I'm not sure I could answer that. I'm not sure.
I'm going to answer it for you. You're the highest ranking official, and we have you on the GloucesterCast. So thank you for that. Have you been a fan of? Have you been following Good Morning Gloucester for a while?
I have, as you can tell, follow the blog on a regular basis. For me, it was a great way to connect with back home, and obviously, the posts are terrific, but the photos are just phenomenal. As we know, Gloucester's a beautiful area, especially in the summertime. I mean, some of the shots you get from the dock and just what others submit on your staff have just been great over the years. And then it's ascended into the podcast and connecting with people that you may not have over the years. Social media has allowed you to still stay in touch, even though you live several hundred miles away. So it's been great for me.
So I'd be remiss, Scotty. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you what we always ask our podcast virgins. the death row sub and the death row meal. Now, it doesn't have to be Gloucester based. It could be anywhere in the world. But the premise is, if you have to pretend you're on death row, and the warden comes in, and he says, "This is your last. I'm gonna get you a submarine sandwich from any. It has to be from a place though, not homemade. Any restaurant. I'm gonna get you a sub. What would the sub be, and where would it be from?"
I still make a stop at Destino's every trip into Gloucester. Just love stopping in. We try to time it on the Fridays when they have the chowder, and just really take advantage of the trip. My wife for years would always ask me, "Why are we always timing this so we're arriving around 1 o'clock on a Friday?" I said, "I got to get there before they run out of chowder." But no, the subs are terrific there. My son's actually a junior at Endicott College, so he'll make trips down there quite often just to get the certain the chicken cheesesteak as he likes it, which isn't quite the chicken cheesesteak we have here in Philly, but it's unique in its own way, so that's always good. As far as the meal, man, there's so many great restaurants in Gloucester, but I just always love the linguiça pizza. For years, it was always at Maria's. And now, we sneak over to Delaney's and get the to-go ones. I mean, just call it a simple pizza, but man, it's so good and it's hard to replicate anywhere else.
Do you ever pop into the nest when you're there?
You always have to. Yeah, that's another thing. You time that, so you have to wait a couple minutes for your pizza to be ready.
That's a professional move right there.
I have a question for Barry. Since we're on the death row sub and the death row meal, now you're in Philly. Where do you fall on the battle of the steak and cheese with Geno's and was it D'Alessandro's or what's
Pat's?
Geno's and Pat's. Geno's and Pat's. They literally are across the street from each other. Both are fantastic, and I've had both. But you always try to. Sometimes my kids will always point us towards Geno's.
Okay, right on. All right, good answer. All right.
He gave an answer, which is very surprising. I thought he was diplomatic and
you truly can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. That's phenomenal as well.
Actually, he said his kids.
That's a very diplomatic answer.
Barry, I have a question.
Here's a question now. So starting out, your first education after Gloucester High was North Shore Community College.
Yep.
And you went from there to Florida Southern, Bachelor of Science in Sports Management. And then from there,
sports management degree is today, but yes, I graduated there in 1990.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
A little different than, there's a lot. The sports management field has really taken off in the last 5+ years, where there's the degrees are more tailored towards specific areas of the industry, whether it's marketing, communications, certain areas of the sports field. Back in 1990, it was still kind of an unknown industry in terms of trying to make a career of it. So it was very not as in-depth as it is right now with some of the degrees. But for me, it served my purpose. I was able to combine a lot of my electives with business courses. And, I felt best suited when I wanted to pursue a career that degree from Florida Southern helped me out a lot.
So when you finished up, you started was it an intern for the Orlando Magic?
Yes. Actually, go back. Dwayne Johnson had mentioned something that they were interning or setting up internships, and I was able to connect with the Magic, and I was painting houses back in the summer in Gloucester, and I remember it was before cell phones and everything, and my dad rushing down to a house over in Manasquam, and you got a 2:00 interview with the Magic over the phone, an initial one. So I had to drop the paintbrush, go do my thing. And I was fortunate that they wanted to meet me in person. So I had to fly down there, interviewed, and, was part of their inaugural season. And the unique thing about being part of a something startup, especially in this industry, is you wear a lot of hats. You get to do a lot of things. You see a lot of things because your staff's small and a lot's asked of you, and everybody's kind of doing it on the go. So they're learning as they go. For me, it was a great experience. It was my senior year of college. They treated me wonderful, taught me a lot, and really opened some doors for, the thought process of, I'm going to stay in Florida when I graduate and just see what the landscape's like. Down there at the time, I think the Dolphins and the Magic and the Heat were the only professional team, on the Buccaneers were the only professional teams, but you could sense there was going to be more teams coming to the area following what the Magic and Heat did. And that led to, my first real opportunity with the Lightning.
So when back in the early 90s, when Tampa, when they had the other place where they played what was the original place where they played? The Lightning.
The Lightning, we played actually. It was funny. They when Phil got the team. So I read in the paper one day that I was living in Orlando, and I picked up the Tampa Tribune that day and saw that Phil Esposito, Hall of Fame, is trying to bring a team to Tampa. I reached out to who wrote the story. I said, hey, I want to help. I'm not looking to get paid. I need experience. I want to break in the business, the whole thing. Sure, come over, help us out. I did that for about 6 to 8 months. And then when they got the team, they hired me as one of their first employees, which was great. So to be, again, a part of another startup was really a unique experience. And then to do it, working for Phil, who was a Bruins legend growing up. And, obviously such a big part of, my growing up was following the Bruins at the time. And Phil was a big part of it. So I got to learn from him and his experiences. Wow. His brother, Tony, was with us as well.
My best friends lived in Tampa, and I would go every single year.
Catch game.
And they had correct me if I'm wrong. And early on, you could get $99 season tickets.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And going to those games, it was all young people.
Yeah.
And it was such a different experience than the Bruins, because the music, and then you'd go like in between periods, everybody would go out on like these like outdoor kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but like it was a party. It was so like, I think Boston is so stuck on being, like traditional.
Tradition. Absolutely. So to go back to your earlier question, the very first year we didn't have a place to play, and Phil tried working a lease out with at the time it was called the Suncoast Dome, which is Tropicana Field where the Rays play now. So needed a backup plan, and there wasn't an arena in Tampa at the time. So they went over to the fairgrounds, which they, had a small exhibition hall there. And literally we pulled out a tape measure to see the length of the fairgrounds expo hall. And sure enough, it was like 218 feet long. Well, of course, the rink's 200 feet long. So Phil's like, perfect, we'll fit a rink in here. They put a rink in there. And for a first-year franchise to sell a sport in a new era, it was excellent because the seats were about 5,000 seats on each side. That's all it was. There was nothing on the end zones. And it was almost like a big high school rink, per se. Or high school football stadium, and everybody was right on top of the action. People got to interact with the players, and you're right. We had a post game area where we were able to, we called it, I forget the name of the club, the Lightning Club or something. So fans could buy season tickets with the club access, so the players would go there afterwards to meet their families, and it was a good chance to grow the sport. Fast forward the next year, they are able to get a lease done in the fairground. I'm sorry, at the St. Pete Thunderdome, and part of the thing was now we have 30,000 seats to play with instead of 9,500. And one of the things they did is they took the upper deck of the baseball stadium and said $99, come up, and it was general admission ticket, and it was great. And we just packed it in there. The playoff game, fast forward 2-3 years later, against the Flyers, actually. Ironically, we had 28,000 people in there, and it was just electric, game in overtime, and I think that really cemented the area as a hockey market.
No, it's great times. I mean, could you imagine? Just like what a great! It's just an unbelievable take, and what a great way to market that, and to get people invested, right? I mean,
absolutely, and then
100%.
It led to the building of the new arena in Tampa, which at the time was called the Ice Palace. And then I left there in '97 after year one of the new arena, and been in Philadelphia since. Northeast guy ever since again.
So we have a question from Bobby Marshall. Ask Barry about the outdoor game, Philly against Bruins this year. Is that going to happen?
That's the rumor, huh? We haven't received any confirmation on it. If it is going to happen as described in the media, it would be a pretty unique experience to put a rink out near Lake Tahoe, and the picturesque background. But we haven't received any confirmation from the league on whether or not that's going to happen. But if it does, those games are always special. They're unique to be a part of. This would be my fifth that the Flyers have been a part of. The first one was with the Bruins in Fenway Park, which was just a great event with the snow dropping and everything. And
is that part of the Winter
Classic? We owe them one because they got us that day.
Is that part of the Winter Classic, Barry?
I don't know if they're necessarily going to do Winter Classics this year because that's been such a great fan event with, ranging from 100,000 at the big house in Ann Arbor to all the unique experiences, whether it's Fenway or Wrigley or last year at the Cotton Bowl. The league's done a fantastic job promoting that, making it such a huge fan event. With the restrictions of fans being able to attend games this year, I'm not sure if they have the game, whether or not it'll be labeled a Winter Classic.
So Barry, if the Flyers are out of the playoffs, do you root for the Bruins?
Don't really have a rooting interest. Good games, last year, we lost in the second round to the Islanders, and we pushed it to Game 7, which was a great experience for our young players, and for us as a franchise, we've kind of went through a period where we got back to having some younger players into the organization, and they took a big step last year. We still have a really good core of veterans with Claude Giroux and Jake Voracek and the guys that have been here for 6-7 years. So they're good leaders and mentors for our young guys. But we got to the second round last year. After that, you kind of sensed Tampa was on a run there, and they were hard to beat.
Yeah. Hey, Barry, I have a question.
Go ahead, Chris.
I have a question for you. I just want to let you know that I'm a fourth liner for Bishop Fenwick High School hockey team. So if you're looking for any players this season,
we can always use them. The Philly mindset. If you're willing to go in there and throw your body around, you'll eat for free at Geno's and Pat's.
No, but I was a good fourth liner though. I was probably one of the best fourth liners in Massachusetts. So. No, I did play a little hockey, but I'm a golfer. But I was curious if you got in a fight with this guy, who do you think would win?
I'd probably him, even though his office is right here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is he still affiliated with the Flyers?
Yeah. He spends most of his, I shouldn't say most, he spends a good portion between here and Florida. And he's actually flying in this afternoon, so he'll be around. We opened training camp today with some player testing and physicals and media day where they take all those headshots and photos and things.
I got to say thank you, Barry. What an important day for him, and to join us here on GMG is huge. Thank you.
No, it's exciting. I was thrilled sitting there last week, and Joey sent me a message and sitting there ready to watch the Pats game. And he said, "You want to come on Sunday?" I said, "I hope the heck we're not talking about the Patriots."
Hey, Barry, can you see your screen right now?
I can, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Mick LaFata, he was a teammate of mine. See, he's confirmed that I was the best fourth liner.
There you go.
I'm going to bring in. I have a special guest right now. My stepson, Connor Hill, who scored a hat trick yesterday.
Oh, nice.
He has a question for you, Beck. Come over here, buddy. This is Connor. He played
Hey, Connor, how are you?
Youth hockey, big Cape Ann youth hockey.
I'm an alum of Cape Ann youth hockey as well.
You got a question for him?
What's the best off-ice training drill to do?
Best off-ice training drill. I would say continue to work on your hands. I mean, I always told my boys that anytime you get a chance to go in the driveway and shoot pucks and just work on, stick handling a little bit. You don't necessarily have to be on the ice to do that. So if you get a chance to do it in the driveway and shoot as many pucks as you can.
What's the name of that thing that you got?
Driveway's always safer. Sometimes some of our guys have stories of when they used to shoot in the basement, and of course they were probably wrecking some of their or whatever's down there. Sidney Crosby's legendary story of shooting pucks into a dryer, but you can do the same thing, doing it right in your driveway. Just shoot pucks, get used to it, and just go to town, have fun at it too.
Have you ever heard of the super deker?
The super deker is that a move?
There's like rubber bands on the side, and
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
he's obsessed with his
yourself and everything. So there's a lot of tools out there you can take advantage of right now. What year do you play, Connor?
This is my first year.
First year. How old are you?
I am 10.
10.
Squirt,
Okay.
right, Connor?
Squirt or
Squirt.
yeah, that's a fun year. Just always have fun playing. Remember that.
Yeah, there you go.
You'll get the most out of it that way.
Connor, you can be a fourth liner just like me someday.
Give me a first line. A hat trick yesterday. Come on, give him some props.
I don't,
That's why nobody else has a Good Morning Gloucester hat on today. They on the ice.
Yeah, I know, right? No, you don't want to lose that. That's a collector's item.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, Barry, the reason I showed
that's probably my next purchase.
The reason I show Bobby Clark's picture is he was one of my favorites. You know, the fights growing up in hockey were the highlight. You know, there's not as much fighting in the NHL, but I'm curious what your perspective is on fighting and you know, does it belong in the sport? You know, I don't want to put you in a tough spot, but I know that's always been a question people ask about hockey.
Well, I mean, as you said, we grew up with watching the game where there was a place for it. I think you're seeing a lot less of it across the board in all manners, including junior hockey, right through the ranks. The game's changed a lot too. So the role of the player, you know, the less, I mean, you know, games are hard to play. There's some big boys still out there, but the game's so darn fast too. So I think the game's changed a little bit. So the place for it has been less and less over the years, but I don't think the game has suffered too much from it because, as I said, the game is so fast and it's so electric. I think we're in such a great place with sport collectively from the NHL all the way down.
I absolutely agree. I think that I don't think the sports. I think the sport's been as exciting as it's ever been. The playoffs are must watch. And I'll say this: there's nothing better than playoff hockey as far as edge of your seat the whole time. Like
no, absolutely. And for us, we're hoping that we can get through this season and possibly, you know, get back to an environment where fans can fill buildings and enjoy that same experience, because certainly without a doubt, I know the players do in this market. I know they do in Boston. They feed off the fans. And when you have 18,000+ in the stadium, you know, revving up for a game, it is nothing better. Our guys look forward to it. We're in that unique market here, like Boston, where the sport really matters. And more importantly, the team matters. The Flyers are such an important fabric of the community here. It's a generational thing that doesn't go back 100 years like the Bruins, but we're pushing 53+ years. So we're getting into those generations.
So speaking of fans, can you compare and contrast Boston fans to Philly fans? Because Philly has the most notorious fans in all of professional sports.
It's called passion, Joey. It's called passion.
Is that what we're calling it? Okay,
that's what it is. My wife always jokes that knowing me and how I grew up rooting for the teams I did, and she said they're identical. The Boston Philly fan base is identical. So I sense that as well. As I said, the teams up there mean so much to the community. They mean so much to, the way of life, what people do. And it's the same here. I mean, as from a Patriots fans, I'm sure you're happy with the outcome of Super Bowl 53 when they lost to the Eagles, or 52, I apologize, when they lost to the Eagles. But being here at the time, it was very similar to when the Red Sox won in 04. So it was generations. In fact, one of my good friends has a picture that I ended up getting framed for him, and it's 4 generations all in their Eagles gear, hugging and crying, and just that was I'm sure a tough loss for the New England fans, but at the same time, to see what it meant to the people here, it was identical to 2004 in Boston. So it's pretty neat to see that, and sports matter here.
Yeah, well, it's funny. We've been so spoiled for so long that we go to a Super Bowl and you can drive through town and you don't see a banner anywhere. in so many markets, if like one of their professional sports teams is going to a championship, like every single like building would be plastered with, like go and, there'd be events everywhere. And it became almost blasé to a degree, it's kind of a sad thing. Nicole, both of your sons have been heavily invested. Your family's been heavily invested in hockey. I wanted you to speak to Barry a little bit about like the club hockey and that stuff. I know you had a bunch of questions.
Yeah, I was stalking you last night as well, Barry. But so my kids are a Pee-wee and a Bantam. So 6th grade and 8th grade, both with Cape Ann youth hockey and a little bit of select hockey on the side. And, all the talk lately has been young athletes burnout and whether it's okay to play one sport year round or whether it's truly better to stick to the season. And hockey at this age is usually August till the end of March anyway. But, you hear other parents from other sports say, why do these kids play year round? It's not good for them as athletes. It's not good for them as developing children either. So what's your take on that? For someone who
personally, this is just my personal opinion. I like seeing them play as many sports as they can. My boys, I have 3 boys. My second and my third both play hockey, but they also played other sports. They're into lacrosse, and actually my youngest did crew this year for the first time. So he was loving getting out on the river and really, enjoyed that aspect. So I think it just from a development standpoint, it helps. As far as, the athlete goes, we have players that come in, especially young players, when we have our development camp, and our trainers can tell a little bit of those who played other sports growing up and those who stayed just with hockey, just because certain parts of their body are developed different ways. And that's not necessarily one's better than the other. But I think from having a fresh mind and attitude and recharge the batteries, it's good to play different sports, interact with different kids, and try to do it if you can do it within your school. So you're part of the school, you're part of your classmates, and you get a chance to interact. At the same time, I get where we are with, youth sports, and it's not just hockey. I think it's the same with, whether you're playing travel baseball, the lacrosse program is no different. Sure, it's with basketball and every other sport that, you get to high school, and back in the day when we were all in high school, you played 3 sports. You played a fall sport, you put your gear away. You played a winter sport, you put your gear away. You played spring sport, and I remember at our age there was he actually played for the Flyers. Bobby Corkum, he played on the North Shore there. He was a 3-star athlete. He played football, hockey and baseball. And we all knew kids who did that, and that's what you did. But nowadays it's all focused on year-round development, and, for the chance to play at the next level, that's clearly what it takes to, stay driven in the sport. So there's pros and cons for both sides, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough not even to play at the next level. I mean, where there's no aspirations in this house of playing past high school, but even to do that, you notice now that you really need to. My kids usually sail over in Rockport in the summer. They play a lot of baseball, and even now you can notice the gap between kids who are playing year round and kids who aren't playing year round, and even if that's with no aspirations to continue after high school. So it's a tough call,
Yeah, it certainly is. And then when you get to the age of Bantam, when you get to 8th grade, and all of a sudden, physically the bodies are changing for the young players, and now the competition gets a little different when you're playing at the lower levels. Everyone's the same strength, everyone's the same height, everyone's the same size generally, and now all of a sudden, those who are going to be 6'2" are taking that growth spurt. Those who are, different body sizes. It all changes, and the games get more physical, and it gets a little bit more like young adult hockey, which, changes a little bit the dynamics of, where the kids feel they fit in.
For the kids who are watching, I'm proof that it's okay to be a 4th liner.
There you go.
Barry, I have
we're always looking for them.
Barry, if you would, being in the vice president position and being on an opposing team, I guess my question is, what Bruins player would you acquire? What's your wish list? If you were to be able to steal one player from us, who would it be and why?
Yeah, did you consider Chara?
I certainly can't talk about other teams' players, but you certainly have to admire the group that they've had for the last 10 plus years. And it started, I think, with the acquisition of Zdeno Chara and the drafting of, Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand, David Krejci. I mean, that group came through. They've interchanged a few parts along the way. Duke has been there a long time. But they've added some young guys in recent years, but they've had a pretty good run there. I think there's been 3 Stanley Cup finals. They're always a team that how they're going to play. Their compete level is very high. And they've been a measuring stick for the other teams in the last 10 years. So you'd certainly admire the top end players on that team, and it's set the table for the Bruins to be one of the best in the league for that period, and will continue to be a hard team to play against. They're in our division this year, so we're going to see them, I think, 8 times.
Oh, that's good for you.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. I think we have 4-4 with them, which the schedule's kind of unique this year, where it'll actually a little bit like a baseball style. So we open a week from Wednesday at home against the Penguins, and then we play Friday night against the Penguins. So they're in for two games in 3 days. So it's a little bit like the baseball schedule. It's trying to, limit the travel, limit exposure for teams. For us, our flights are only going to be to Boston, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh. The rest of them are we're the proximity we are to New York. We have the 3 teams in the metro area there, and then we got Washington. They're all within a 2-hour radius, so it's good travel for us.
Do you go to every game?
Not as much anymore, no. I'll go to probably about 25%, find out when I can sneak in, see a game. I always like getting up to the Boston game and, a few cities here and there. I traveled a little bit at the end last year. I was actually with the team in the bubble for 6 weeks. So I was there, but no, not as much anymore, which is good. And when I'm not, I sometimes.
How much hockey do you watch outside of the Flyers? If you're an assistant GM, I mean, how many hours a day are you watching?
The scouting side isn't necessarily, where my job requirement is. So I pretty much watch all the Flyers, and then I try to stay in tune with our minor league team as well. And then outside of that, just whenever there's games on, I obviously try to catch them and watch them. But the most fun games are my kids' games. Those are the best to watch.
Oh, no question, right? My daughter's soccer's. I'd rather watch that than anything else.
Without a doubt.
Barry, I saw in the Boston Globe today, I didn't read the full article, something about the NHL putting a chip in the puck this year. Did you?
I think that they're trying to introduce a little bit more player tracking from a statistical standpoint. Whether or not it will work for the start of this season, I'm not sure. I know there's been some, public discussions about, keeping up with some of the data and the analytics that you're seeing on other broadcasts, whether it's the NFL, the European soccer leagues. I think some of the NBA broadcasts are doing it as well. So I think it's more of from a statistical standpoint that they'll able to do that. If they are, it's great. More information, the better. Makes the broadcast more entertaining as well. So if they're able to make it work, that'd be great for all hockey fans.
So getting back to your connections with Gloucester a little bit. I don't want to get burnt. You have to talk about hockey all day long, but what are some of the things about Gloucester that you miss the most being away from here?
For me, I grew up there, 20 years, counting going to North Shore Community College. I left to go to Florida Southern when I was 20 or so, right around there. My parents were born and raised there. Grew up in Riverdale, right off of Wheeler Street. It's just, I guess going back, it's the people, it's a beautiful location, no doubt about it. But just the people, and knowing that when you go back, nothing from the genuine people, that never changes, which is good. And then obviously you have family that's there, and just take advantage of sharing some of your youthful experiences with your own kids is always something neat as well.
The lobsters taste the same in Philly as they do in Gloucester?
No, not necessarily.
Barry, I've got one question.
When it comes up.
I've got one question, Barry. I drive the 95 128 probably not as much as you, but I definitely drive that. What's the best time to hit that since you go up on Friday? Because you guys,
I generally like
what's your
leaving.
plan?
I like leaving around 7:30, and everybody goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" You go through New York around rush hour, which is actually the reverse because everybody's in Manhattan by 8 a.m. anyway. So usually that's the way I go. I also have a place up in the White Mountains in New Hampshire. So if I'm not hitting Gloucester, I go straight up to 93, and I can do that in a decent amount of time. But I like going around 7 a.m. You get up there no later than noon, and it's drive done many times, and once you break it up, you get through Connecticut and that Merritt Parkway. It's home sailing usually, unless the mask can jack you up once in a while.
Here's a non-hockey question for you, Barry. Have you ever done the 72 stone steps at the Philly Museum of Arts?
Of course, that's a must. You do that when you're here.
That's great. I didn't know how long has Gritty been the mascot for the Flyers?
How long? I think this is his third or fourth year. I think he came out in 2018, fall of 2019. Yeah, this will be his third year.
All I know is for such a short time, he has ascended in the ranks as one of the most popular mascots in all of professional sports. I don't know how that came. Did you just let that guy go bananas, or like, you see some of the stuff he does? He's wild.
He took lessons from the Philly Fanatic.
He's a pretty special talent.
What is Gritty? What is Gritty?
What is he?
Yeah, what is the matter? What is it?
He's Philly. That's all he is. He's Philly. When he was introduced, his first game was a preseason game, and he came out on the ice and he ran on the ice, and he didn't have the foot tracking on his shoes that he wears, and he went flying down and whacked the back of his head, and the fans here are just like it's a tough crowd. So at first, I'm not too sure about this guy. All of a sudden, somebody like one of the ice crew people looked at him and pointed and kind of laughed, and he got up and he had one of those air guns, and he just fired one of those shots that you're supposed to shoot about 100 feet away. He fired it, hit the guy, knocked the guy down. Anyway, long story short, everybody's mimicking, making fun. He's getting hit up on social media left and right that night, and I think the Penguins mascot might have said something on social media or just did LOL, and he responded back as "sleep with one eye open, bird." And that's when everybody said he's ours, he's Philly, and so everybody just adopted him. There he is, right there.
Right there.
Beautiful.
I'll tell you, he's entertaining. Barstool Sports loves Gritty. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Does he report up to you, Barry?
No, he's pretty clear. He's a tough customer.
So here's the question: you wake up in the morning, do you fire up Good Morning Gloucester first or Barstool Sports first?
Good Morning Gloucester, of course.
Yeah, I love it. Anyway, I don't know if you have to go, but I mean, I know we've had you for an hour now or 40 minutes, but you're welcome to hang out. Did anybody else have any questions for Barry?
No, Barry, thank you for sending me your email. I'll send you my resume. I got my equipment bag all packed up.
Did they have video back in the day when you played, or relying on slides?
Well, it was black and white. I think it was black and white, but
send what you can. I'll submit them to our department.
Barry, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Barry. That was awesome.
Best to everybody in Gloucester, and hopefully get up there sometime in the near future. So
yeah, thanks for following.
Don't forget, when you come up, come see me. We're going to take care of you. I'm going to personally buy you some lobsters.
That sounds great. Look forward to it.
All right. We'll see you, Barry.
21 to everybody.
What a great guest. Was that a great guest?
that was awesome.
It was definitely a great guest. There was no lack of answering questions, and he was very fun with everything. So
yeah,
he was great that he supported Philly, but he also supported Gloucester, and he also mentioned about the Pats and Bruins. It was great.
Oh boy. Well, I am very appreciative. I was trying to think of some of our high-profile guests that we've had over the years. We had the guy that's married to Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Brad Hall. We had who do we have? We had the lady from Anasquam there that does the acting.
Oh yeah, the actress.
Oh my God, why can't I think of her name?
Yeah.
Why would you even try?
Yeah.
Lindsay Krause.
Lindsay Krause, thank you.
Krause. We had the football player, the Patriots football player.
Yeah, Obi Melanafwu.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still playing.
I'm not sure. If he's still playing. Who else?
We've had Jim Dalpiaz.
Jimmy Dalpiaz, the parking lot attendant for the third level New York Mets affiliate in upstate bumfuck New York. Wayne the Mailman. We had Wayne the
Mailman. Yeah, Wayne the Mailman.
We had the fourth line for Bishop Fenwick Hockey.
The fourth line.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Russ Steves. Did Russ Steves ever make a guest appearance?
Russ Steves? Yeah, he did. He was in studio about a year ago.
We missed Russ Steves.
Just last week, we had the famous DJ Logic.
DJ Logic, A-lister, Grammys, won Grammys. All right, Chris.
We had Skippy.
Oh my God, crack addict Skippy.
Oh my word!
That guy was definitely whacked out. No question about it. That guy was whacked out.
Yes, and we've had the mayor, exactly.
Oh, geez, how can we forget the mayor?
We don't mention Safata. It's the mayor, A-lister, the mayor.
I think we got to have another local A-lister and living legend from the Greasy Pole, Salvi Benson. We got to have him on.
That is 100%. Ralph DiGiorgio, A-lister. All that. Amber says. Chris, you had a topic. What is the attraction of a pebble stone driveway, especially living in New England?
Oh, actually, look at Wayne said Bo the dog. You can't forget about Bo the dog.
Bo, the official dog mascot.
Exactly.
The official Cooper.
So, and if Kate's still listening, she could probably attest to this. And
did she put you up to this?
What's that?
Did she put you up to this?
No.
Okay.
But and I know you have a stone driveway too. But because we had our first snowfall the other day, when I walk around all the different neighborhoods, you wouldn't believe the number of stones that are in the street from the plow, and how the plow just rips the shit out of these driveways that have the little stones. And I'm looking at these driveways, scratching my head, saying, why would you have a driveway with stones? I know Ralph has one, so if Ralph's listening, I'm just curious. I'm sure there's pros and cons. Aesthetically, they look nice, but they become a mess in the winter.
I think that there's several reasons. I think the number one reason is that for drainage. I think that the city will not let you pave certain driveways for drainage reasons. I'm not positive about that, but I think that's the case. For number two, the reason we don't have ours paved is because we don't have enough money to do it.
No.
I'll be quite honest with you. I have other priorities. I'd rather take a trip and have life experience than pave my driveway.
If you set up a Christmas club.
It does suck though. It sucks to like in the spring to redistribute those stones.
Oh my God. We passed one house. Charlotte and I were walking. The guy was raking his lawn. I'm like, he's raking his lawn now. But then he had the shovel, and we could hear the rocks going into the wheelbarrow. And I'm like, why do people have stone driveways? Especially here when you get clobbered in the winter and have to plow.
Speak on that one, Chris. I actually worked for Christian D Landscaping, and we did a major project, exactly the driveway style that you're talking about right now. It wasn't just all stone, but it was cobblestone, and in the seams of the cobblestone was the rice stone. And then, again, for the drainage and stuff like that. But I agree with you. I think it makes a little bit of a mess. I'm not a huge fan of it. I had to do it for work. It's not an easy job to do, and very, It looks very nice. Very hard to maintain though.
Yeah.
Brutal.
I always wanted the crushed eggshell, like down the
Yeah.
It came out beautiful. It looks great. It is hard to maintain.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Actually, Safathia says she has stone for traction, which is an interesting point.
But she also said, yes, I think that it was a reason, like some places you can't pave because of drainage and stuff like that.
Drainage, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, or wouldn't have thought of that.
Nicole, you went to the Newburyport Black Cow, and I saw some of the photos you took. How did you get the shot overhead looking down at the sushi pit?
They have an upstairs dining space. They have a rooftop deck during better weather, which is really nice. They moved. I didn't know they moved. They moved like 3 years ago, but I didn't know that. But they have a rooftop deck, and then they have an upstairs space that holds like 80 people. And in the middle of the outdoor space, the floor is open, and you look down over that sushi boat bar. What? Oh no, Chris, what?
No, I'm reading the comments that are coming in. Kate wants to start a GoFundMe for a driveway.
We're not.
Sorry.
Okay, you know how people say never say never? I will never, ever, ever do a GoFundMe to benefit me.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how people say never say never? I don't ever want to be the guy that does a GoFundMe. I knew it drives me crazy. There was a restaurant that had already a super established, well-running restaurant. And they started a GoFundMe page for a pizza oven for the new restaurant. And in my head, I'm saying to myself, what a pair of fucking balls to fucking start a GoFundMe when we're making a ton of money at your other place.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
But Joe, one of the other comments, it might have been Safathia, in terms of the cost to maintain a stone driveway. So you'd mentioned your big issue is cost for putting a paved driveway in, but the amount of money that it costs you each spring to maintain your stone driveway, have you run the numbers being an accountant?
I do all the redistributing of the rocks. So there is no money that exchanges hands for that part.
Well, don't call me to help.
It sucks. It's not fun. It is not fun. So I did a little thing here where Pat, if you could do me a favor, Pat, and not don't put any more of the comments on the screen, because I have them put in this. If you look at the screen, I have them coming in the sidebar.
Okay.
You got
I thought he was missing something.
Yeah. No.
Oh, I see it. Yep.
See that? So
Yep.
now everybody can see the comments as they come in, and that will aggregate them from YouTube, Facebook, and everything else. Wayne the mailman says paving is the only way, and my guess is that he just likes it because he doesn't want to get his shoes dirty because
or his truck stuck.
So, hey Joey, just to give a little preview of what's coming up for next week. You touched earlier in the podcast for people that are just joining us as viewers. The igloos live from mile marker 1.
Yep, we're gonna. I think Thursday we're gonna. Oh wow, there you go.
There's just
a webcam. Is that a live view, Scotty?
That's a picture that was that's on Google. You could Google it and take a look at it, or maybe on their website. But what an amazing job they did with these igloos. I have not personally been in one yet, and I'm looking forward to that podcast.
We had a great lunch there the other day. Why don't you tell people about what Patrick had said? Like they're adding more.
Yeah, they're gonna build. I think it was 2. They're in construction right now. I think adding 2 more, possibly 3 igloos, and I think they have a total of 5 right now. Joe,
5 or 6 or something, but
yeah, 5 or 6. The addition of 2 more, and they've really said that it's it's really saved them in this time where the outdoor dining. The indoor dining has been diminished to the 25%. So kudos for them for being innovative and trying to keep things going and afloat over there. So
he said the response is overwhelming, and the cost to rent one is $30
minimal. 6 people, that's $5 a head just to rent one.
It is a non-factor. Like that rental fee for that kind of experience is a non-factor as far as I'm concerned. If it's 3 couples, it's $10 a couple. That's nothing. That doesn't account to anything.
There's pros and cons that people have weighed in on about those. I'm not going to really touch on those unless you'd like to. But people have their opinion on being in a bubble. But that's I want to try them. I'm curious to go try them.
If you go to Mile Marker website, they have a section dedicated just to the igloos, and they actually explain the ventilation.
Awesome. Okay.
So, for those who might be concerned about being in an igloo with other people, go to the website. They explain or address everybody's concerns about being in an enclosed area like that.
Awesome to know. Yeah, I was curious myself, so that's good to know, Chris. Thank you.
Not only is it fantastic, but you can tell how much it's made an impact because they have a whole line of clothing right when you walk in that has the Igloo logo on it.
Not just any line, Joe. It's your famous line.
Helly Hansen.
Helly Hansen. I mean, that's top of the line.
My go-to. It's my go-to. Yeah.
I want to know when the buckle.
I both have searches, eBay searches. Anything that comes up in my size, men's large, Helly Hansen, I get an immediate notification.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm not stealing anything from you. You're a woman.
No. I said no. I just meant you're welcome for the eBay hint.
Kate loves
I spend far too much time on eBay.
Kate loves tripping over all my Helly Hansen gear. Okay, where we go? I'm going right here. Responding to Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island died.
Yeah, I know. A few weeks ago, we were talking about Gilligan's Island and some of our favorite actors or actresses, and when I saw that, I had to do a shout out to Mary Ann. May she rest in peace. I think she left. She lived a good life. I think she was. I think she was 84.
DJ Scotty Mac.
So they said Ginger is the only living cast member now.
Who is?
Ginger.
Oh, really?
Everyone else has passed away.
Wow.
That's that clean living she was doing.
Is that like the winner on Survivor?
I guess so, right?
Yes, you went to the bowling alley and got the Reuben burger. Can you describe it for me?
Who did?
It says Reuben burger at the bowling alley. Did you see
No,
it?
I didn't go, but I have to go. I saw their post on Instagram, and when I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, that is a must. I mean, just the looks of the thing looks outstanding. And, Cape Ann Bowling, they're doing a lot of great things over there. I don't know how many people realize that they have a restaurant, full-fledged restaurant, pumping out great food. Bowling is open during this pandemic. They're doing a lot of social distancing and the cleaning, the cleaning of the balls. You always have to keep those balls clean, pandemic or no pandemic. But if you haven't been to Cape Ann Bowling or bowling alley, get over there. Even if you're not going to bowl, try some of their food and some of their beer because they are brewing beer.
Right, the beer is really good.
We're due to go there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a podcast there this week.
Cape Ann Lanes on Gloucester Avenue.
Cape Ann Lanes. Yeah.
What did you say? You say it wrong?
No, I say Cape Ann Bowling.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Cape Ann Lanes.
Yeah. Well, you got
to
that.
make sure.
Well, guys, what are we going to do today? Football's on.
Good at eating.
Pats play the Jets at 1:00.
That's gonna be a great game.
It could be many coaches their final game today.
I'm predicting the Jets today. Who you got?
I'm predicting Cam Newton gets hurt.
I'm predicting that it's going to be the Jets are going to win. As a matter of fact, I may or may not have placed 30 units on
it. Is
30 Bitcoin?
Are they starting Stidham or are they starting Newton?
I think Newton, but the line was plus 145. So 30 units get you 45 units if they win with no spread. The Patriots were 3.5-point favorites a couple days ago. Pat is telling me that don't forget the prize drawing, but I don't have a prize. So
sorry.
Hold on.
Where's your frozen pizza? But you had a
oh. Well, I haven't done it yet. But that's a great call, though. So
don't you have a glass in your cupboard that you can smack a Good Morning Gloucester sticker onto? Just find
Joey, your freezer's around the corner. Just run over and open up the freezer and grab one.
Joe, I'll donate this.
Why, you don't like it?
I love it. But speaking of regifting, I'll regift.
Well, we have 2 remaining shot glasses from podcast 45.
All right, we got a gift. Safathia is donating a $10 Dunkin' Donuts gift card. All right.
Nice. Thank you, Safathia.
Thank you, Safathia.
I gotta entertain yourselves. I gotta run and get my my cell phone that has the number generator. So I'll be right back.
Entertain ourselves.
Hey, Chris, I know you said you're the 4th liner, but trust me, you're the king of the one-liners. Okay?
But
Oh, what about?
No, I'm just saying what people are thinking. That's all. So let's have a little meeting of the Merry Castaways.
We've been doing that a lot this week without Joey.
There's a lot of that going on, Del Piaz.
I call this meeting to order. Nicole, would you view the minutes, please?
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to go back to the transcripts of the last
Yes.
Merry Castaway. We talked about COVID face masks being representative of one's undergarments. Is that right?
Oh my word.
Do they reflect?
Don't buy one from Victoria's Secret.
Scott, I knew you would remember that.
I have to say that I'm not going to put this person on the spot, but this person looked down and said, "Ooh, white cotton."
All right. I need to count. How many, Pat?
7.
7. That's it.
Yeah. Well, we didn't pimp it because there wasn't anything to pimp. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a very good point. All right, I got to put in the numbers. All right, should we give people? All right, we're going to give everybody right now. You have 15 seconds to share it on Facebook and type in shared.
And we can see because it's over here now.
All right. All right.
Boy, talk about dead air.
Yeah, right.
Brenda Grimes Davis says, "What about cooking with Sister Felicia?" I'm not gonna. She's not. No, that's we don't. That's not going to be a prize that like for sharing the podcast. You get that's a big money, big ticket item. Big ticket cooking with Felicia. But we are going to do. We got 2 people just shared it. See that? We are going to do a Cooking with Live with Felicia podcast. Where Felicia actually she was supposed to give me the recipe, and we're going to put it out there. We're going to tell people to get the ingredients ahead of time, and we're going to broadcast it like overhead so she can give instructions on how to make a certain item.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
is it going to be tripe?
Brenda Grimes Davis was selling Felicia short on that.
No, she says not a prize. She's clarifying here.
Yeah, it's not.
We're up to 9.
Yeah,
Joe.
Yeah,
Joe. Can we do tripe?
No. Brenda Grimes Davis, I get it. Brenda wasn't saying to offer that as a prize. She was just wanting the information. Okay,
right.
I'm sorry. I have to apologize. Thank you, Brenda. But I'll get that information from Felicia today. I'm gonna guess and say maybe Wednesday night or something like that. But I have to check with her. I don't know if Felicia's watching right now or not. All right, Pat. How many people do we have?
9.
9. Okay, 1 to 9.
Chris, if Brady makes the Super Bowl, we all have to eat tripe.
Wait,
All right, hang on, Joe. Right there.
I'm out. I already ate it. I'm out.
No, but Jimmy Dalpiaz right there. Just put it on the line.
He can eat it. I'll be happy to watch him eat it. And we'll live stream.
Jim, that's a deal.
We're going to live stream you eating 50 feet tripe. Jimmy, did you give you is the Pats or Jets today? No points. What do you got?
Oh, I'm going with Pats. I went Pats defense. They're gonna stop the Jets because it's all they're fighting for pride, and I give tremendous pride.
All right, Nicole, who you got?
I don't Pats. I got nothing.
That was an uninformed decision if I've ever heard.
I lost interest a few weeks ago. I can't lie.
No, it's okay. Scotty, who do you got?
I don't know. It's a tough call, man. I mean, they've been playing like total dog shit all season. I mean, they come with a 45-0 blowout, and then they come back and lose all these other games. And I'm going to go with the Jets. I mean, I love the Pats, but I just don't feel like they have it in them. I feel like they've totally given up. And Edelman is a smart move not to be activated with that injury in a losing season.
There's a lot of players not playing. Chris, who you got?
I would say that the Patriots lose on purpose so they can move up a couple spots in the draft.
All right, here we go. We're going to do our well, let me make this big. Hold on one second. Hey, now. That's what she said. 1 second. Okay, here it is. Can everybody see? And
Number 8
was one of the last people that did it.
Francine Ruda.
Francine. All right, Francine, you are. I got to get back to it. Where is Francine picking up her $10 gift card to Dunkin' Donuts? We got
She wrote earlier to go to City Hall and check in with the guard.
Check in with what?
The guard, I think she said.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave.
All right.
My buddy Dave.
There you go. Thank you so much, Safati, for sponsoring the prize this week. We appreciate it.
Very nice.
We are firing on all cylinders. If you're not subscribed, if you're not watching, I feel bad for you because we're having way too much fun here.
If you're not subscribed, Joe, they're not listening.
Wait. Francine just passed. We're going to do another. There's still – okay, we're going to do it again. All right. Ready? We're going again. Number 5. Who's number 5?
Number 5 is Postman Wayne Moulton.
Wayne the mailman. Don't say Wayne Moulton. It's Wayne the mailman.
Oh.
George is getting angry. Hey, Joey, anybody ever tell you shout?
Wayne the mailman. Thank you so much, Pat. Pat, hey, by the way, Pat, great job compiling the show notes. For Barry Hanrahan, thank you for joining us. Pat and Jimmy Dalpiaz, awesome job. Nicole Schraft, awesome job. Chris McCarthy, awesome job. Scotty Mack, as always, this is a lot of fun. I miss you guys. I can't wait to get together and have a few adult beverages.